We've all seen it, right? That moment in a game where things just boil over. A player loses their cool, a bench clears. But what is really going on there? In this explainer, we are digging deep into the psychology of sports aggression. We're going to find out what drives it, what shapes it, and ask that big question. Is it a secret weapon, or is it just a dirty tactic? So let's just dive right in with a question every single sports fan has debated. You see a hard foul, an aggressive check into the boards, and you have to ask, where is the line? When does a brilliant strategic play cross over into being just a cheap shot? Well, it turns out psychology has a really fascinating and, yeah, kind of complicated answer to that. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to define what sports aggression actually is. Then we'll get into the psychology behind it. We'll look at the players, places, and pressures that fuel it. Then we'll tackle the great aggression debate. And finally, we'll talk about how it's all managed on the field. All right, first things first. Before we can really get into a good debate, we have to define our terms. In the world of psychology, the word aggression has a very specific meaning. And you know what? It all boils down to one simple but crucial idea. Here it is, the clinical definition. And listen, that word intended, that's everything. If a player accidentally trips someone during a fast break, that's not aggression. But a deliberate shove to stop that same play, boom, that's your textbook definition right there. It's all about the intent to cause harm, whether that's a physical hit or just psychological trash talk. But get this, not all aggression is created equal. Psychologists make a really important distinction here. On one hand, you have hostile aggression. This is pure, hot-headed anger. The main goal is just to hurt someone. Think seeing red. Then you've got instrumental aggression. Here, the main goal is to win the game, and hurting someone is just, well, an unfortunate byproduct. It's the tough but legal tackle to get the ball. It's business, not personal. So now we know what it is and the different flavors it comes in. But that leads to the much bigger question, right? Why does it even happen? Why do athletes get aggressive? Well, there are three major theories that try to explain the whole thing. First up is the oldest idea in the book, instinct theory. This one argues that aggression isn't something we learn, it's just baked into our DNA. It's a primal survival instinct that's part of being human, and it just gets channeled through the competition of sports. We're basically born this way. Then you have social learning theory, which says the complete opposite. It argues that aggression isn't born, it's made. This theory says that athletes learn to be aggressive by watching absolutely everyone around them. Their coaches, their older teammates, the pros they see on TV. They see it works, they copy it, and the cycle just keeps on going. And our third theory connects aggression directly to frustration. Think of it like a trigger. An athlete has a goal, right? To score a basket, to make a play. And then an opponent gets in their way and blocks them. According to this hypothesis, that frustration can instantly boil over into an aggressive act. The blocked goal literally pulls the trigger. Okay, so we've got these different theories floating around. But if that's the case, why isn't every single game a total brawl? It's because there's a whole bunch of other factors that can turn that aggression dial way, way up, or dial it way down. And the list of these factors is just fascinating. It's everything from personal stuff like an athlete's gender or what motivates them. Are they just trying to be the best, or do they have to win at all costs? All the way to situational triggers. Things like a super hot day, a crazy loud and hostile crowd, or just the simple pressure of being on the losing end of a game. Let's just zoom in on one of those for a second. Gender. Now, this is definitely not a hard and fast rule for every single person. But when you look at broad psychological studies, they consistently find that males, on average, tend to report and display more aggressive behaviors in sports than their female counterparts. And the context of the game itself? Oh, it's a huge catalyst. You've seen this, I'm sure. Research shows that aggression just spikes when a team is losing and maybe feeling a little desperate. And if it's a heated rivalry game, forget about it. All that history between the teams just acts like gasoline on a fire. So all of this, all these theories and factors, it all leads to the biggest, most fundamental question in this whole field. When it comes to our aggressive impulses, are sports the solution, or are they actually part of the problem? Let me put it plainly for you. Is playing sports a healthy outlet, a safe place for us to vent our natural frustrations and blow off steam? Or is it actually a training ground? Does it teach and reward aggression, making people more aggressive both on and off the field? And what's really interesting is that the very theories we just talked about fall on completely opposite sides of this debate. Instinct theory and the frustration aggression idea, they both suggest sports reduce aggression by giving us a release valve. But social learning theory, it argues the total opposite, that sports can increase aggression by showing athletes, hey, this works, this is a winning strategy. So if we just accept that aggression is to some extent an inevitable part of sports, the next logical question is, what do we do about it? Let's take a look at the toolkit that coaches and leagues and organizations use to try and keep it all under control. And the strategies really range from being reactive to proactive. So on the reactive side, you've got things like clear punishments, penalties, fines, suspensions that are supposed to be a deterrent. But the proactive steps are, you could argue, even more powerful. Things like having coaches who act as non-aggressive role models, having athletes literally sign contracts promising to control their behavior, and even using professional anger management training for players who really need it. So the next time you're watching a game and you see that moment, that hard foul, that heated exchange, you're not just going to see two athletes losing their cool. You'll actually see all the hidden psychological forces at play, the intent, the frustration, the learned behaviors, all of it colliding in that one single explosive moment on the field. It's pretty amazing when you think about it.